Welcome to Listen.
Teacher Chatter.
This is Robin.
And Jill.
And we are very excited today because...
Guys, I'm just telling you right now, we look so legit. If you have the opportunity, I need you to go check us out on Facebook, or not Facebook, well, on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, because we are in a studio.
Yes. And we are wearing headphones and a professional mic. Not the little mic that we've had that doesn't work half the time.
Right. And so I feel like we're going to just try to get used to this and make it happen every time.
You know what? I think we're living our best life.
All it takes is a badge getting activated, and this is our life that we're living every week. And so I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of our social media, we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, YouTube. You can see the whole episode and our previous ones. And make sure you're checking us out on all your podcast platforms. There's a thing called Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
It's on there. And your Androids.
Spotify.
Also, yes. Everywhere.
Anything.
We're there.
We're there.
So, I mean, even if you just Google Listen Teacher Chatter.
We're there.
We're there. Okay. So make sure you're checking us out. And we've been putting up some of our old videos from TikTok onto Reels, because I'm pretty sure TikTok is going to be going away. I heard it was outlawed in Montana. So
wow.
It's a real thing. I think I'm feeling more professional with these headphones on.
I feel like I'm like pretending like I'm in my best life right
now.
now.
All right. Well.
You ready to start with our highs and lows?
I am ready.
Okay.
I am ready. And I am going to go. I've got two stories for you.
Oh.
And I think one of them's definitely a low for me. The other one, I'm going to just say it was kind of a low too, but it has, I'm just going to tell you my stories.
Just go with it.
So, the first one is that, I was in my pod talking to my team in the morning, my whole pod, there's 2 teams in there having a great time. And all of a sudden there's a sweet teacher across the way, Miss Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear her yelling in her classroom. And you know how as a teacher you get oh, do I need to assist you in this matter?
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yeah, so we all look over there do you need us? And she's handling it. I'm like, oh yeah, she's handling it. Because
the kids are in the room.
The kids are in the room, and you hear ah!
Oh.
And I'm like, gosh, what's happening?
Yeah.
So we see her come over to her door. She goes to her intercom, and she clicks the intercom button and says, we have a mouse in our room. I think I need somebody to help.
Oh, no.
To which I was like, I've got you.
No.
Yes, because
no.
I am a farm girl, right?
No.
I can help you with this situation. So I go grab a trash can. I take the little plastic thing out. I'm like, I'm going to get this mouse, put it underneath there, store it, and then scare Robin.
Stop.
It's in your bag right now.
No! Stop.
Okay, that's not exactly true. But so I'm like, I've got this container, right? So I'm like, where's it at? I got you. I can help you.
I actually hate this story right now, honestly. I'm quivering a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to make it better for you in a minute.
No,
so I see that we find the mouse.
No,
and it is
stop.
a cute little mouse.
No.
It's like a little baby thing. And it's real docile. I think I could have picked it up and
No,
pet it with my hand.
stop.
But I didn't. So I try to get it, but then it scurries away, goes behind a computer cart, move the computer cart. I'm like, I can still do this. At that point, our custodian, Mr. Kane, he came in, he had his little sweeper, and I helped assist him in getting it there. And he took it, I think, over to North.
I was going to say.
To that elementary across the way.
Oh.
And I was like, make sure you put it by this window.
Oh.
So we got it out. But even better is what I found out later. This mouse had been discovered when it had been crawling on a child's back.
No! No, on his back!
On his back. And a kid screams because they see a mouse crawling on the kid's back.
I would literally die. No, honestly, I think that could be one of my worst nightmares.
And the teacher's like, surely not. And the kid was like, I never felt it. And the kid was like,
gosh.
Absolutely, there was a mouse on your back.
Stop. The story is horrible.
So then it fell off, and then they found it, and then it got relocated to your classroom. So I
think this has to be one of the worst stories. That I would die.
Yeah, it was great. So
what were the kids doing when you were trying to catch it?
They were sitting in their seat like they're supposed to do when there is an emergency.
I'd been out there.
No,
I would.
Well, that's why I didn't know where Miss Marsh was as far as hers, and she actually was a trooper too. I was very proud of her.
I'm actually impressed with Miss Marsh.
Yeah.
I don't know her, but I have a whole.
You would like her. real chill, but great.
I'm a little upset she stayed in the room with the children like she should have, but I feel like that's amazing.
Yeah, so we did that. Now that I don't know, I feel like it was kind of my high because like
I'm not coming to your room again. You know that.
I mean, you make your own choices in life, right? My low is this. This is in the same week. This is this week.
I'm scared.
So this is so gross. This one's gross.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in my ELA meeting. My great ELA team. We're working to like figure out map review, the
data.
Yes, we're going through it. We're dividing and conquering all these things, and I feel something on my forehead. And I was like, what is that? And so like I go and put my hand up there on my forehead and I go, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a bug. And I thought, I caught the bug on my forehead. I pull it. It is a tick walking on my forehead during a meeting.
What is going on?
I'm sitting there and I'm like, where did this tick come from? Like, I showered today. I have clean clothes on.
You're lucky it wasn't stuck on you.
It was disgusting. That was actually disgusting. To which then I had people around me freaking out because I have a tick in my hand. I'm like, don't worry.
They're worried about Lyme disease.
I'm going to take care of that tick, take it apart, and get rid of it for everybody. Yeah. But I didn't like that one. And, great ELA team as they were very supportive and didn't, tell me how disgusting I was because that's how I felt in that moment.
Did you go home and check your whole self over?
Yes. And I was like, what? I was like extra scrubbing in the hair, all the things. And I don't know where it came from. I'm also going to blame it. I'm going to blame it on I think that mouse potentially came out of a kid's backpack. I do.
Do you?
It was a baby mouse.
Oh, Lord. I can't take it. I can't take this story.
And the tick I also think came from a kid. I was sitting in a child's desk, and I'm like, that tick was on that desk. It had to have been somewhere.
I don't know. Like working a safari or something.
It's a great building. It's very clean, very nice. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, I bet it both were from kids.
Anyway, that's my... I don't know which high and low. So my high is just, thank you, ELA team. That you
survived this week.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I felt like it was a powerful week of stories. Yeah. You're welcome.
Wow, I don't even know where to go from there. I'm fixated now. Well, my high and low have to do with field trips because I went on 2 this week.
Wow.
Okay, one's my high and one's my low. I'm gonna start with my low. Okay.
Was it that day you took a picture and sent it to me?
No, that was a high.
Oh, okay.
That was a high. That was high. So the one on my low is I went with 2nd grade and we went to the Wonderworks in Branson, which was super fun place. Okay. So it was really fun and we had a great time. I was in charge of 3 kids. And it started off that the little boy who's my special friend said, hey, can today we pretend like you're the mom? And this boy is the oldest brother and I'm the middle and this is our little baby sister. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea today. So that's how it started off. But okay, we're all good with that. Yeah. I was like, listen, all you gotta know is you gotta listen to your mama. So that's all that matters. So we walk in there. Have you ever been to Wonderworks?
No.
Well, it's super fun. Okay. Well, they said, listen, your class is starting on the 3rd floor.
You said this was a 2nd grade?
Yeah.
I thought one of my kids went and they're 4th grade.
The 2nd and 4th both.
Oh, okay,
yes.
Gotcha. That's a group deal right there.
Yes.
Okay.
So they said, hey, you're starting on the 3rd floor. I was like, awesome. So I was going to look for the elevator. Well, they pointed to the stairs. Mm-hmm. I am not exaggerating. I know you think I am.
I would never.
I had to walk up, I swear, 12 flights of stairs to get to the 3rd floor. And each flight had about 20 stairs. I'm not exaggerating. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not.
I think you're exaggerating.
No, I want you to go there, and I'm going to go myself so I can take pictures.
Maybe we'll just call them and be like,
you know
how
what?
many stairs do you have?
Want you to. In fact, I'm going to because I don't think people take me serious. So halfway when I made it up to the, I guess, floor and a half,
they had to have an elevator.
They did, but they didn't send. I guess because you can't put 150 kids on it. I thought to myself, I'm going to die in the stairwell of Wonderworks. This is how I go to heaven because I was huffing and puffing. Thought I was going to die. Luckily Miss Esh, who was with me, we looked at one point when we went around the corner. There was still 800 steps, and we said, and luckily I wasn't the only parents looked at there like, I thought several parents were going to die too. I thought, this is how I'm going to go at a field trip in second grade. It was. By the time I got up there, my asthma was huffing. I thought I was going to need my inhaler.
Did you have your inhaler?
I did. Luckily, I refused to use it. I mean, because I was passed out on the ground. But no, I was like, I'm not using my inhaler. I'm going to. But I
wanted to see you halfway up the stairs.
That's what I did too. And luckily, the little girl was holding my hand, and my husband said, well, did you slow down? I was like, yes. I just held the little girl's hand like she was the slow one too. But anyway, I was like mother of pearl, so it was awful. Okay.
Oh.
Now my high was, first of all, was first grade.
Yes.
And was it not a wonderful surprise that I got off the bus and your lovely mother was there and your sister-in-law? So it was like a party, and of course I called your mom over there and said, get over so I can take a selfie so I can send it to Jill because she loves to do this for me. Look at me.
Am I going to get it for Mother's Day? That's the question.
I cannot wait. So that was super fun. But what was so fun is I was talking to another grandma that was there and just kind of visiting with her. And she said, I asked my granddaughter who you were. And I was like, oh. And she said, that's Mrs. Hammonds. And she said, I asked her what she did. And she said, she's the one that helps us calm down.
Oh.
And I was like, if I could think of helps us stay calm and calm down. I was like, if I could think of a job description, I love that I'm the person that just helps people stay calm and know how to calm down. And I was like, that was like the nicest thing, because I was like, I wasn't the one that got the naughty children, or sometimes I've heard that too, or the ones that, but it was like, and who would know? I'd be the calm person.
I was about to say, who would have thought that a job description that would say anything about calm would be something you would be qualified for?
You know what? I'll take it and run with it. But it was a fun week. So I'm glad no more field trips, though. Mama's tired. Mama's tired. All right.
Yes.
So our topic today is,
it is okay to say no.
All right.
So
I've actually kind of been, when we talked about, when you sent this to me and said, this is our topic this week, I was like, oh, this is fair. And the more I thought about it, I thought this is actually a really interesting topic. And I think the reason I find it interesting is because I think there's just different views about it, okay?
Yeah.
So
are we on opposing views on this?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Okay.
I don't think we're opposing views.
Okay.
But I think it'll be interesting. So tell me what your thoughts are. When you were thinking about that, what did you think? And then I'll tell.
Well, I was just thinking about how in the teaching world, there's a lot of things that people ask us to do and that we feel like we should do.
Yes.
And so sometimes we put all of this stuff on us, and it can be what we're spending on things in our classroom. Mm-hmm. It can be the time that we're spending, the energy, all of those things, or it could be the things after school duties that we are asked of us. And I think it is so hard for teachers to say no. And I'm like, but it's okay. It is okay to say no to all of these different things, and the world is still going to go and turn. So there's where my mind, when I was thinking about it, because I've just been around multiple people this last week where there was just a lot of yes. And though there's a time for yes, but there's also a time for no, and realizing like you've reached your limit. And so that's where my mind was with it.
And you know what? That's exactly where I thought your mind would be with it.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, when I think about that, my heart starts beating fast, because I would never think about saying no.
Oh, Robin!
I would never.
Is this going to be a counseling session?
I feel like so. And I was trying to think to myself, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why would I not say no? Like in my mind, I was like, why wouldn't I? Like if someone asked me, because I thought, as I was thinking this, I was like, I think I have to realize why I would not say no. Like, what is the back? So I was thinking to myself, well, Robin, why would you not say no if you're asked to do these? So these are one of the reasons I would say.
Okay.
One, I think there's a little bit of FOMO for me, honestly.
Okay. FOMO, by the way, is fear of missing out. I
know I'm very hip, so I understand. I need to translate.
Oh my God.
I'm very hip.
Oh, yes.
So probably because that's a word from the 2000s. That's probably why you have to tell them what that is, because they're like, I haven't heard that in like 40 years. But I think a lot of it times like, oh, okay, well, if I don't stay after and do this or stay at the meeting, what if it's a great committee meeting? Or what if it's like,
that's cute.
No, I really think that way though. In my mind,
I know.
So I think a lot of it is like, man, I really hate what if something I really enjoyed?
Or being a part of like a decision being made or something.
Yeah,
like
and maybe
that.
it's because I like control of things. Like I like to be a part of the no. And so maybe that's it. But like honestly, like I thought I would really hate that I said no, really. And then the other thing is, I think I'm weird because I think I really do enjoy a lot of different things.
Yeah.
That nobody else does. Like I think we talked about it before. I love a good committee. And you know, like here's a good example. You know, we have coming up.
I like good committees. I hate wasteful.
No, I agree with you, and I probably should too. That's why I think there's something wrong with me. Like next week I'm going.
Are you part of the problem here?
I probably am part of the problem. That's what I was thinking. Because I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm going to some meeting after school this week. I'm sure you said no about the payroll. To see like why we're going to 2-month payroll.
I just assume like I get it, it's fine. Like,
and I was like, sign me up. Of course I'm going to go to it because you know what I think. And then part of me thinks that I'm a rule follower. So I'm like, if someone sent me exactly because I got an invite, why would I? Because someone else said, well, I'm not going. I'm like, well, why would you not go? We got an invite. We're supposed to say yes or no. Of course we're supposed to say yes. And so I do that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so that was my other thing. And then honestly, this one sounds like I'm trying to be a goody two-shoes, but I'm not, okay?
Are you brown noser?
No, that's what it sounds like. But honestly, I feel like, and I thought it went back to my Enneagram. I really do like to be helpful.
Yeah.
So to me, it feels like, and that's part of it. And I think you have to have boundaries. So my husband and I have this conversation all the time because he says no to everything. And I'm like, we want to do some things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think part of it is like, and so that's part of the time of being a 2. Sometimes we put too much on our plate because we don't.
Yeah.
But like in my heart, if you said, hey, can I do this for, I'm like, yes, I would love to help you do that. Yes, I want to be on that. You can't find anyone to be on a committee meeting. I would love to help you because deep down, I want to be helpful, but it's not always healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's that. So that's what I was thinking.
Well, and so for me, I actually do understand parts of that because I do have a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out on things. But then I have to do a check on myself and realize like, what is the value of whatever this thing is? So, and what are the things that it's going to be putting a burden on me? And those are things I've been having to ask myself because, and quite frankly, like, I mean, so I lead our PACE group on every Friday.
Yep.
I have a Bible study group I lead every Wednesday. We do our podcast every single week. You know,
I agree.
I mean, there's those 3 things alone. And then
family and sports.
Let's add my family that has all of the other parts.
Yeah.
And so I think in the last couple years, I have had to check myself.
No.
And ask. And so honestly, for me personally, I ask like, is it something that it's because of me or my FOMO, fear of missing out on this stuff? Or is there something bigger that's being accomplished with those things? And so that's what I have to debate. And is it worth, I mean, what's been great about our podcast is we are very flexible.
We are, yes.
And we make the time at some point in the week. And it's not like we might record this on a Tuesday and it doesn't come out to the next Tuesday or on a Sunday, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so that's been able to be flexible for me. My PACE group on Fridays, we're pretty chill. It's a short devotional.
Yeah.
My Wednesday group's been really, really great with those things. But I do know for me, like when people ask me to be a part of something, I initially want to say, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you want me a part of this.
Yes.
You see some value in what I bring to it.
Yeah.
But I've recognized that I will put too much on my plate and then it puts a burden on me and my family. And I'm like,
and you're not having fun with anything because you're worn out.
Right. And I'm like, and that's whenever I have to be like, no. And I think for me, I've had to do a lot of checks with my kids are only going to be in our house for so long. And if there's something that's taking that time away from them and being able to be involved in their stuff, then like I have to be like, it's a no.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even like these meetings they have after school, some are professional development stuff. I haven't done one of those in such a long time. Actually. Oh, what? Look at that. I've seen some that look interesting and they'll be like, we recommend you going to this, but I'm like, let me be honest with you. Like, no. Yeah. Because of all these things. And so, you know, I guess what I would say to like our listeners too is just to be kind of ask yourself why you should or shouldn't be a part. Like if you're going to be a part of a group or of some kind of activity, what's the big benefit from it? And is it just to make you feel like you're a part of something, or is there something being taken up with it. So, yeah.
I agree. I mean, and honestly, and I have to think back. Sometimes I have to step back for myself because I am a yes person. Like, honestly, my husband will say, we do not, why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, they asked me to. And he's like, you don't have to do everything people ask, you know? And I
think like, well, you asked me to marry you, and I said yes to that.
I said every day you say, stay with me, and I say yes. But I think you have to also think, I love what you said is, why are you doing it? Yeah. Like, is it, what's the purpose of you doing it? And I think it's something you enjoy, yes, and it's okay. But I think another thing that's so hard, like, I think it depends who asked me to. Mm. Because if my boss asked me to do something, I don't know if I could say no.
You could.
I don't know if
you can do it. Here's the thing, though.
I don't think I can.
Yes, you can. You can do it, Robin. Okay, let me just give you an example. The beginning of the year, they want you to be a part of some kind of committee, right? So I'm on our guiding coalition team. Well, we get this other email later on, or I ask about that, and I actually talked to my husband. I'm like, hey, with what you know, because he's been in the building previously, like, do you feel like this is a group that there's a benefit to it, or is it just people being told things? You know what I mean? Like, do you actually? And he's like, I think that would be a good thing for you to be involved in.
Yes.
He's like, because I think that you would be able to get your input on things and be able to help problem solve with stuff. I think this would be something. So I'm like, okay, then that was a yes for me.
Yes.
Now at that same point, they had this committee group sign up sheet go out, and it's like, you need to be on one. And I was like, wait, I'm on guiding coalition, but this is the rule follower. I'm like, is that a committee? And so I'm like, all right, I sign up for this other one. Well, as I started thinking about it, I was like, no, this other group, there's going to be great teachers on that.
Yes.
I don't need to be a part of that. And so I messaged my principal, and I was like, listen, I've already got this thing. I don't think I need to be a part of this. And he's like, well, no, I think you would be great with this other group too. He's like, but this is what I appreciate about what my principal said was, but I get where you're coming from.
Yes. And that says nice.
And said, though I would love for you to be a part of this other group, I understand, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Now I still get the emails from that other group. I think you'd
already. You still could have the part. So it's a win-win. You don't have to go to the meeting, but you still rather know.
But it's one of those things that I was like, I think that's the other part is, leadership. I mean, like your admin and principals and stuff. They see qualities in people, right? Yeah. And so they want the people. Probably people on different groups and committees, and to have value in those because they see value in their teachers and having their input. But I think we just have to be careful that we don't put ourselves too thin with stuff. Yeah. And I know that I've been guilty of that before, and I'm trying to be better.
So for me, also looking at leading committees, to realize that not everybody wants to or needs to be on. They don't feel like they have a need to be on everything.
Well, and I think that what you said there, though, is like the idea of wants to be, I don't even know that, because if you ask, like, do you want to have your input, the people are going to be like, well, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. But in the same sense, it's like, you can spread people too thin, even in those leadership roles, because I've been a part of that too before, where it's like, people ask you to be a part of this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And it's like, no, years ago, actually, whenever I was the ELA department head in our building, and I was working on my master's, I had a new baby, and actually I was doing a little small business thing on the side, and I remember going to actually Dr. Bauman. He wasn't Dr. Bauman at the time. He was our principal, and I was just like, listen, I have too many things. Like, I can't, and there's this binder. So you need to know I have like a little bit of a phobia with binders because of this. I have like PTSD from it. But we had this binder we were supposed to fill out with our department meetings, and it was all about this. So like, I am not a detail person. Write all that out. Like, no, that's just not me. Yeah. And I came to him, and I'm like, I can't do this job because of all these little things I'm having to do. And quite frankly, I did not see value in those things, because I'm willing to do things if I see the value in it. If it is something to check a box or something like that, or to say we did something, I can't do it. Like, inside me, it gets me, because it's it could be a time waster. And maybe some people need that stuff. I'm just not one of them. So I basically tell him all of these things, and I'm like, I cannot be department head when this is the expectation, because I have all these other things. And he looked at me and he was like, what's causing you the most grief? I said, this binder. And he's like, throw it away. He said, that is not as important as having you in that leadership role.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so we didn't worry about that binder anymore, and things were so much smoother because
you still got the work done.
Still got the work done, still got all the things. But I think that's the other part is, even in that moment, I recognized it was too much for me. And you have to also be willing to go to whoever you need to, whether it's your admin or the person that's ahead of this committee or that, and just say, listen, here's where I'm having an issue with these things. If you really want me a part of it, it's not like a you get me or you don't, but it's like, I can't do this part of it. And recognize your limit, because I think as teachers, we say yes so much.
I agree.
Even if just because we know.
And we'll sacrifice things to say yes.
And it's not worth it.
No. And I think if we just remember that it's okay to go and say no and give your feeling, as long as you're respectful.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's thing. I think I see nowadays people will go to their administrators and the way they talk to them, I'm like, listen, they're your boss. You don't have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But you can have discussions.
Yeah.
But be respectful of it.
Yeah.
And give your reason, like you said. You know, I think that's just something that it's okay to say no, but make sure that they are your boss.
Yeah.
And there's a reason they're asking you. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna say no, be respectful and be kind when you say.
You're in a different role where you're seeing some of that stuff. Because I just think about how I approach it, you know? And I'm like, I go in there and I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, I want to do it all. I just can't, you know? And so I would never go in there disrespectfully. But I'm sure there are people that do and are like, yeah. So that's a good call to bring that up to people.
Just a little bonus.
The second thing I wanted to talk about with the saying no part is the financial part in your classroom. Because that was one of the conversations I was having this week, was that there was some teachers literally spending, I would say, I don't want to say like $1,000 on their classroom, but potentially.
No.
And I think, again, like, we want our kids to have great experiences in our classroom and stuff. But like, we don't make enough to put that kind of financial burden on ourselves.
Yes.
And so I think we also, maybe it's not going to be the cutest thing of this, but what will your school provide? And make sure you ask.
Yeah.
I've always been pretty fortunate, like, and I'm not a big ask like for things all the time person. I find a way to make it happen. Yeah. But normally if there's something I really don't have in my classroom, I can ask admin or even parents, like, hey, here's this thing or that.
This is what we need.
Right. And it's not, I don't know. I think we just also, like, don't put yourselves in a financial.
No.
That's also not going to be worth it. No matter, the kids may, have that memory, but they would have a memory of something else, it wouldn't be a financial burden on you.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
And I know that some people, like, I get the joy.
Yeah.
And when you see kids doing those things. And so maybe, and early on in your career, you're going to spend more.
Yes.
Like, you just are, because you don't have things in your classroom and you need more stuff, right? But as you move on too, if there's things that you know and you're in that same grade level, make yourself a list throughout the year, right? I think we talked about that, of the things that you know that you're going to need, and worry about that. And I don't know, I like I said, I know everybody has their own thing, and I'm not like trying to like be after people that spend a lot in their classrooms, because maybe it's what brings you joy, and that's your
and you know what I told
therapy.
When I first started teaching, I used to spend a lot more money.
Yeah.
But I did tell my husband this.
Yeah.
It was kind of like my hobby.
Yeah.
Where he liked to fish and he spent money on that. I spent a lot in my classroom, but that was kind of a hobby for me. Like that. So I also think you can, if you have the money. Now, don't finance, but if that is something that's where you consider kind of a hobby for you to decorate your room or something, I think that's okay. But just don't be financially.
Yeah.
Put yourself financially strapped yourself.
Right. And like I said, that's what I was saying. Like, I know some people just find joy in that, and I'm not trying to steal your joy, people. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just also saying, like, it's okay to say no for those activities too, and go, what's something I can do similar that maybe isn't going to cost me $75?
Yes.
Because it does add up. It really does, if you just do a little bit here and there and this way and that way.
Listen, I feel like Pinterest is what's hurt us so bad.
Sorry. Pinterest gets me every time.
Pinterest.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
Robin.
I was like, it gets you? You don't like it either? I was like, tell me why you get you.
It gets you just how you say it, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've got to. I know I say words weird too, and so actually I had that conversation this week too. But I'm sorry, it got me that time.
It's okay.
It got me that time.
It's been a while. I forgot about it. But I think sometimes we see these things, we're like, oh, we have to have it, and we think our room has to look a certain way.
Yeah. All right, but anyways, just for everybody,
it's okay to say no.
It is okay to say no, and I think just go back to what's the reason that you are thinking you should do it, and maybe give yourself time before responding very quickly. If somebody asks you to be in a group, a committee, or to do something, look at the person and just say, like, give me a second, or give me a day. Mm-hmm. And that'll also give you time to process, because immediately you may want to say yes, or immediately maybe say no. Uh-huh. And maybe that's not really where you need to head. And I mean, I also would say, like, praying about it.
Yes.
Right? Where do you pray about it and then give yourself time? I mean, if you tell somebody, can I get some time to pray about it, and they tell you no, then you know you should not be doing whatever it is.
That's right, 100%. So unless it's me coming to ask you, go ahead and say yes.
Which nobody can tell Robin no. So here I am a year plus later.
That's right.
Meeting with her weekly.
That's right. Another thing on your plate. Just kidding.
This was a good one.
It's a good one.
All right. Well, some reminders as Robin's getting our challenge together. We are on Facebook. I've been putting up reels, some of them old ones, but good ones that have been fabulous. So don't worry, I'm not scaring Robin constantly. Maybe I will start again, though.
You're scaring me again when I watch them.
So true. We are also on Instagram, TikTok for now, Pinterest, and you can see how this amazing studio that we're in
so fun.
On YouTube. So
I love it. All right, so I picked Ecclesiastes 3, and I'm actually going to read 1 through 8, but we're going to kind of spotlight just 7 and 8. It says, there's a time for everything, a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, and a time for war and time for peace. But I love where it comes, when it goes back to, and I actually think it's a time to search and a time to give up and a time to keep and a time to throw away, and to embrace things and a time to refrain from embracing. And I thought that was such a good reminder for our topic today, that in our life, and I think also, you and I are in different stages of life right now.
Yeah.
And so it's easier for me to say yes right now because my kids are older. One is out of college and living on her own. The other one's getting ready to get her driver's license so she can drive her plate. Yeah. And so I do have the time to say yes and do more activities. And I don't have little ones at home. She goes home after school. She's happy to have an hour without me, like all those things. And so I think it's also a time in your life that you can say yes and no to. And so I thought that was just such a good reminder. And I think it's important when you say, just kind of pray about where you think you can make the most difference and be on those committees and do give everything you can on that committee. Yeah. And I think that's important. So our challenge this week is, if you are a yes person like me, I don't know if I can do this. So
accept the challenge, Robin.
All right. One thing throughout this month, say no to something. Now be respectful and kind and be, and pray about it. Don't just say no.
I'm just picturing you being like, someone asks you something, you're like, no.
Like,
I said no, I checked the box.
That's right. So, but say no and know that it's okay to do it. And on the other hand, if you're a person that always says no and it's never, because I think that's frustrating too, is you have those people in your school that says no, they won't be on any committee member, they don't want to do anything. That you're a family, you need to carry your part too. Yeah. So be able to say yes you pick something for that month to say yes to. All right. Well, listen, we hope you have a great week, and it's been so fun to do this. Yeah. My gosh, living our best life. Thing. I love it. All right, this is Listen.
Deidre Jatter.
This is Robin.
And Jill.
And have an amazing week.